Thanks for joining us on this beautiful day here in Seoul. Hello and welcome to Business Daily. I'm Lee Ji-yoon. Before we get started, let's take a quick glimpse at today's highlights. A greater than expected cut came from the IMF as it lowered this year's growth outlook for Korea even further, with the global economy still in the slow lane. Korea's mobile payment market has been growing tremendously in recent years, with more people looking to double their smartphones up with their wallets. Samsung Electronics announces better than expected earnings for the third quarter, posting nearly 80% growth from the same period last year. The stronger performance was mainly driven by the improved chips and display sectors. Our Shin Se-min reports.
Korea's top tech giant Samsung Electronics came out with improved third quarter operating profits, satisfying deflating market expectations. According to its preliminary earnings forecast Wednesday, Samsung posted an operating income of $6.2 billion, up nearly 80% compared to the same period last year. It's also an on-quarter increase of 5.8%. Sales also rose by more than 5%, reaching $43 billion from 3 months earlier. The chips and display businesses led the growth.
Solid gain in the nanometer technology has helped drive up the business, along with an increased revenue from the displays to Chinese smartphone makers, boosting the company's bottom line.
The chip business is likely to have earned at least $3 billion in operating income in the third quarter from $2.9 in the second quarter. But despite the mobile market saturation and dampening global demand for new handset models, Korea's smartphone giant is likely to have put out better performance in the third quarter with the early launch of flagship models like the Galaxy Note 5 and the Galaxy S6 Edge. Samsung's new lineup of its mobile devices was launched in August in an attempt to get a jump on Apple ahead of its latest iPhone releases. Despite the growth seen in the third quarter, it is unclear whether the growth will persist through the coming quarter, with looming global economic uncertainties added with the full-fledged battle with Apple and its iPhones. Shin Se-min, Business Daily.
The International Monetary Fund's latest growth forecast for Korea is now lower than the Korean government's projection. The IMF says global economic growth this year will slip to the lowest level since the height of the global financial crisis. Our Eunice Kim reports.
It's the third cut in the space of a year. The IMF has lowered Korea's growth outlook for 2015 to 2.7%, down 0.4 percentage points from a forecast in May and July. The forecast for next year was also cut by 0.3 percentage points. It's a much bleaker outlook than a year ago, when the agency forecast a 4% growth in 2015, and also lower than the Korean government's 3.1% and the central bank's 2.8% outlooks. Experts blame tumbling exports and sluggish domestic demand for the downward revision. On the export front, uncertainties in China are affecting Korea badly, but it's also sending shockwaves around the world. China's slowdown, coupled with sliding commodity prices, were cited as the main reason behind the IMF's decision to also slash its global growth outlook. It cut that forecast by 0.2 percentage points for this year and the next, warning growth will slip to the lowest level since the 2009 recession. The IMF's chief economist says China's economy is going through a transformation. He says China is focusing more on domestic consumption and manufacturing than on exports and investment, which will help growth in the long term. But
in the near term, there are implications for China's growth and for its trading relationships with foreign countries.
It isn't all gloom, though. The outlook for the U.S. was raised from 2.5 to 2.6% this year. The Eurozone, which has been showing a gradual pickup in recent months, remained steady at 1.5%. Eunice Kim, Business Daily.
And now let's check on how the markets fared here in Seoul today. The benchmark Kospi broke the 2,000 mark on Wednesday, thanks to Samsung's strong performance, which helped dispel concerns about a dim outlook for corporate earnings in the country. At the closing bell, the benchmark Kospi was up 0.76%, finishing the day at 2005.84. While the tech-heavy Kosdaq lost 1.34% to end at 679.83. On the foreign exchange counter, the Korean currency gained ground against the greenback, ending at 1,161.3 won. Domestic consumption has been picking up as more people in the country are loosening their purse strings after Korea's Thanksgiving holiday Chuseok, which came at the end of September. This is according to the Ministry of Strategy and Finance, which said online shopping malls like Gmarket and Auction all saw sales increase by roughly 120% after Chuseok, mostly in women's products like cosmetics, shoes, and clothing. Large department stores like Shinsegae, Hyundai, and Lotte also saw sales jump by double digits on year in fall attire and saw a 20% increase in golf products. Meanwhile, Volkswagen Korea is finally breaking its silence some 20 days after the German carmaker's use of a shocking cheating software came to light. On Wednesday, the local subsidiary said it's ready to issue an apology to its customers and reveal plans for a voluntary recall of affected diesel vehicles. 92,000 VW owners and 28,000 Audi owners in Korea are believed to have cars with the defeat device software installed. Volkswagen's Korea operation pointed to a lack of direction from headquarters as the reason for its delayed response. Separately, incoming Volkswagen CEO Matthias Müller told a German daily that he expects recalls worldwide to begin in January and wrap up by the end of next year. Demand for renewable energy is on the rise worldwide, and with growing concerns over energy security and climate change, the industry is on the up and up in Korea. Our Kwon So-ah tells us more.
What appears to be an ordinary convenience store at first glance is fully equipped with eco-friendly devices. Solar panels on the roof, the #1 source of renewable energy in Korea, and a system that ensures that energy is distributed evenly, whether to the refrigerators, the air conditioner, or the LED lights.
Solar energy is absorbed throughout the day to keep the convenience store running at night. And leftover energy is stored in this energy storage system for later use. This way, up to 30% of the energy can be saved.
That system, along with another one that helps monitor how much energy is consumed and when and how it's used, lets the store cut its carbon footprint by 30% and reduce its electricity fees by 23%.
Convenience stores are open 24 hours. The signs outside, the lights inside are on all the time. That's why we wanted a way to cut energy waste.
Microgrid technology, a convergence of renewables and IT, makes it possible for buildings to produce, use, and save energy as they wish.
With ideas like these, Korea is following the global trend toward boosting its use of renewable energy. Last year, global renewable energy consumption levels rose to more than 20% for the first time ever. Investment in the sector jumped last year too. Korea, however, doesn't contribute much to that, as it's at the very bottom of the OECD when it comes to renewable energy production.
The number of renewable energy plants in Korea is growing rapidly, and there will be tangible growth in the amount of renewable energy use between 2020 and 2025.
And that should help Korea reach its target of reducing its greenhouse gas emissions by 37% by 2030. Kwon So-ah, Business Daily.
The mobile payment space is heating up as Korea's Samsung Pay, which launched about a month ago here in the country, is now looking to challenge Apple Pay in the U.S. For more on Korea's mobile payment market and what we can look forward to in the industry in the years to come, we have Ole Dubnov, a strategist from the Asia Institute, joining us in the studio today. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, so can you tell us exactly what this mobile payment service is?
It's when you store your credit card or banking information in your smartphone to make payments very quickly, both online and offline. So it especially helps merchants to increase their sales and increase the loyalty of the customers. And this industry has been growing at $1 trillion worldwide, and we will see how Korea has been growing.
After ordering a cup of coffee, instead of handing over cash or a credit card, the customer presents a smartphone for easy, quick payment. Using credit card information that's already been stored in a handset, consumers can now pay anywhere a credit card terminal is available. Smart wallet systems like this, which require no cash or plastic, are growing exponentially and are being adopted rapidly by consumers. In the second quarter of 2013, the domestic mobile payment market was at a mere $1 billion. But in the second quarter of this year, it's grown to nearly $5 billion, a fourfold increase in just 2 years. Kakao Pay has gained more than 5 million users in its first year of introduction, and Samsung Pay pushed out over $33 million in payment processing within a single month of its debut. Just 2 years ago, there were only 1 or 2 mobile payment services in the market. Now there are some 20 options consumers can choose from, and retailers such as department stores are entering this market as well. Will it become a game changer not only for the online but offline market as well?
All right, so I'm wondering if Samsung Pay is the only mobile payment service that allows users to make purchases at offline shops with those conventional credit card machines.
Samsung Pay is the one that we know mostly right now, but also there's PayCo from NHN, and also Apple Pay, which is expected to come very soon in Korea. But also you have department stores like Shinsegae or Lotte, which are coming out with their own payment systems where you can pay online and offline, and it helps really increase the loyalty and make people purchase much more often in the stores. So for example, Shinsegae with their SSG Pay has been downloaded more than 220,000 times in Korea already in just 2 months.
Oh, wow. But then Samsung Pay has been introduced in the country about a month ago, but then in the US or China, it's been a while since those payment services has been introduced, right? So would you say, compared to Korea, that these mobile payment services are more established in those markets?
Yes, they are much more established. For example, in the United States, we can take PayPal, founded by Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla Motors and other companies. It has been doing, just in the past quarter, about $66 billion in processing, over 1 billion transactions worldwide. But it's different from Samsung Pay or Apple Pay because you connect your credit card or your banking information. It's mostly for online payments.
All right.
And also you have Alipay from Alibaba, which is in China. Very popular, more than 190 million users use it in China recurrently on mobile devices. But it's a different system from the credit cards because it's a parallel digital wallet. You use it to recharge your smartphone and to send money to other people.
But then we could say that Korea is quite a latecomer in this industry. But then we heard that Samsung Pay officially launched in the US last month. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, after testing Samsung Pay in Korea, it has been a great success. Over 500,000 people have been using it. So after launching in the United States, especially the media such as Wall Street Journal, Forbes welcomed the practicality of Samsung Pay because you can store many credit cards on one device. You do not need a wallet, and especially security is very strong because every single time you pay, you need your fingerprint, and nobody can really make a fraudulent payment, which is a $16 billion in fraud every single year in the United States.
Okay, well then, in your opinion, what should Korea do in order to gain a stronger foothold globally and domestically in this industry?
Well, in this industry, for further growth, security is very important. So now you have the fingerprint, but you also can develop things like the retina recognition, your face, your voice, and it really makes people much more secure about storing so many cards on one device. So if you lose it, you're never worrying about calling your banks and being worried. Also, you have the regulations. So now you have the TPP deal, Trans-Pacific Partnership deal, which unites many countries. And Korea will need to harmonize financial regulations with other countries to allow smoother movement of money, of business models to grow this industry. And finally, you need education. Because when you pull out your smartphone to pay for it, the clerk may not know what to do. And it may deter people to pay again.
All right, so everyone needs to be informed about these services in order for it to work well.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much for coming in today, Ole.
Thank you.
And that brings us to the end. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow with more, so don't forget to tune in then. Thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.